Cheers, everybody. It is September 1st, which means, like every basic witch out there, I'm ready for the fall vibes. The fall vibes are not ready for us because my AC is absolutely going to kick on today. But it's got me thinking about my fall reading plans, and a lot of people are doing fall TBRs and their reading challenges and all that stuff, and I got to thinking about my physical TBR. And I was like, oh, it's the TBRber months. Because we've got September, October, November, December, TBRber months, and I've decided to go with it. My goal until the end of the year is really to start focusing on the books on my shelves. I have a bunch of holds at the library that I have paused and might pause for even longer. I do have a couple of things that I will try to get to. I believe I still have 3 Booker books that I am going to get my way through if and when I can, even though Booker, as a lot of you know, has fallen off the cliff for me, and I'm not sure I want to continue, but I will give them a go. And I have a couple of arcs that I would like to get to. The purpose of this video is for me to just sort out what books I have that I have not read on my shelves. I don't have a huge book collection, a huge physical book collection, but I do have way more unread books on my shelves than I've ever had in my life. And I would like to know where I'm starting, what my goals should be. I don't know that I'll be able to get through all of them the next 4 months, but I would really like to prioritize the books that I have put an effort into bringing into my house. I brought into the house because I really want to read, and I'd like to go from there. So obviously I'm excited about it. I hope that you are also excited about your fall TBRs. Maybe we can all make a little bit of an effort to do the TBRber months and see what happens. But for now, I'm going to go through these shelves. Why don't you join me? I have got myself a pumpkin spice, just steamed milk, and first pumpkin spice of the season, September 1st. Let's get into it. Okay. I suppose best bet is just to start at the top shelf and work my way down. Actually, let's talk about the 2 arcs that I absolutely need to get to. First, I have Intermezzo by Sally Rooney. This one comes out September 24th. This is going to be a dope or nope video. And I also have Paula Hawkins' new books, The Blue Hour, which comes out October 24th. And I think this is also going to be an October book. So those are 2 physical books that I have plans for and I'm very excited about reading. Obviously, Intermezzo is one that I'm going to be getting to pretty quickly. But now we're on to the books that have been maybe sitting on my shelves a little bit longer than I would like. Let's see. First up, The Blind Assassin by Margaret Atwood. Another thing is you're probably going to see quite a few books that were on my big book TBR. That fell apart. I did read quite a few big books, but just because of the way books were coming in from the library, the books on my physical shelf got pushed to the back burner, and I read way more books just from the library. So unfortunately that didn't go well, but they are all still books that I very much want to read and will try to prioritize over the next few months. So The Blind Assassin by Margaret Atwood. Ooh. I also really need to reorganize my shelves. Acts of Faith by Philip Caputo. And this is a book that I'm not even really sure is about. It's set in Sudan. I think that's what really intrigued me about it, is that's a country that I don't know much about at all, and a history I know very little about. And so I was really looking forward to kind of using this as just a little glimpse into the lives there. And so I'm excited to read this, but I think it's going to be pretty intense. Red, oh yes. The Passage by Justin Cronin. This is a series that I have wanted to read for a very long time, or at least attempt to read for a very long time. And I kind of feel it's actually maybe good for fall. I think it's a bit of a thriller, mystery vibes, and those always lean themselves to fall reading. Would very much like to try to get to this in the next few months. Obviously, that's the point of this video. I'm going to try to stop saying that. Don't mind the mess as I leave on the shelves behind me. Like I said, I would like to really, I'd like to reorganize these shelves, but I just, right at this moment, they just are what they are. But let's pause. Okay, shelf 2. I've read all these books. I think the only thing kind of diff on this shelf that I would maybe like to talk about is Gone Girl. I've been really itching to do a reread of Gone Girl. It has been years and years since I read it. It is the first thriller I've ever read in my life, and I would like to just do a reread of it and see if it's any good. It's one of the very few thrillers that I would ever want to do a reread of, but it was that impactful on my reading. I'd really like to give it a second read through. We have classic number 1, Madame Bovary by Gustave Flaubert. And I have no idea what this is about. All I know is it's a classic, and so picked it up at not a free little library, what was this, Friends of the Library, and would like to get to this. I have The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I've never read Kristen Hanna before. This would be the first one I get by her. I believe this is one of my sister's favorite books of all time and would like to read her. I know that she's wildly popular. Her book, The Woman, that just came out, insanely popular. So this is an author that I think I could really adore, and she has quite the extensive backlist. An author I have zero experience with, but is a book of his that I would like to give it a shot with, Stephen King, Fairy Tale, yeah. I am not a horror reader, but I have heard that this leans itself a little lighter. It's not into the extreme horror side that Stephen King is kind of known for, although maybe that's more his classic stuff. I'm not really sure if maybe in the last few years he's changed a little bit in the stories that he's telling, but this is one that I would like to give a shot to. I think I would like to maybe do a standalone video on this one, reading Stephen King for the first time, just because he's such a prolific author that I've never experienced before. I would like to maybe document my thoughts as I go through it and see what I think compared to what a lot of people love about this author. We then get down to the Barbara Kingsolver. And I have 3 Barbara Kingsolver books here. I have Animal Dreams, The Lacuna, and Prodigal Summer. Barbara Kingsolver is somebody who I would probably aim to do one a month. I would think. I love her writing. Demon Copperhead is one of my favorite books of all time. I really enjoyed her. I read The Bean Trees, and I've read, obviously, the Poisonwood Bible. But she's an author that I don't think I could just sit down and kind of read back to back. So I think my goal for this would probably be to choose one for each month and see how that turns out. Okay, next shelf down. I don't think you can see this anymore. We have 3 books on the next shelf down, but we also have a book I would really love to reread, and we'll get to that. East of Eden by John Steinbeck. The Singer Sisters by Sarah Seltzer. This was actually an advanced reader copy that went on sale in August, and I didn't get to it, and I apologize for that, but is something that I would still like to give a shot to. And Wild by Cheryl Strayed, which is a nonfiction, it's a memoir, I believe, about a woman who takes herself into the wild. All I know is that it's a very popular memoir. It's been out for a long time, and I finally am going to get around to reading it. Hopefully its expectations meet the reality in this one, because it's one that I know people have absolutely loved and would love to get onto that hype train with it. And as for the reread that I have down here, that would be The Goldfinch by Donna Tartt. Again, a book that I read a long time ago, but would really like to do a reread of. I think I would like it even more now. I just read for the first time this year Donna Tartt's The Secret History and thought it was absolutely brilliant. And so she is an author that I know doesn't write a whole lot, so would like to read this, and then The Little Friend, I think is her other one, which is also a pretty chunky book. I don't own that one, but if I could get through The Goldfinch this year, I'd be pretty happy about it. There is, just to contribute to the fall creepy vibes, or heading into that kind of season, the biggest spider outside my window right now. It is so ugly, but it is like full-on spidering, and we're gonna have to take care of that. Okay, last book on this set of shelves, I have Creatures of Passage by Maroa Yejide, and this is, I think, about somebody who, like, I don't know, chauffeur's souls or something like that. I'm not really sure how to describe it. I could be mixing it up with something else, but it's a book that was nominated for one of the prizes in the last couple of years, and I wasn't able to get around to it, but I found an ARC at some friends of the library or something like that and decided to pick it up. The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. Again, a book that I know I have read in my life, but I remember literally nothing about it, and so I'm counting it as on my physical TBR. And then The Liar's Dictionary by Ellie Williams. And this is about a guy who writes for the dictionary or comes up with definitions for the dictionary, and I think gets bored of it and starts messing with things. That might be a very vague and possibly incorrect synopsis of this book, but I picked it up because I thought it sounded really intriguing. So that is this side. My other shelves are basically all my series, and I have read most of the stuff on there, but there are 3 books that need to get pulled off for this challenge. And so we've got The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. I just really want to read this. I really want to read the Hunger Games series again. The next book, or another book in the world, is coming out in 2025, which is obviously going to be on a pretty high anticipated book list for me for 2025. Really want to get to that one. The Blackbird Oracle by Deborah Harkness, which is the next book in the All Souls world. I love this series so much. I just started watching it on Netflix, and I'm actually kind of impressed with the Netflix series. It's not the greatest thing of all time, but I feel like they've stuck to the characters better than other book adaptations. Like, I can't even watch the Outlander one because that's just not Jamie. The person who plays Jamie, I'm sure he's great. I'm sure the show is great. People love it. But I watch it and I cannot get past that is not Jamie in my head. And I have found that the character casting for Diana and Matthew in A Discovery of Witches was done pretty well for me, and that makes me quite happy. And I'm really keen to get to this. I'm not sure if I just want to pick this up or if I want to reread the series, because it's been a long time since I've done a reread of the series, and it definitely seems like the right season to do that if I was to get myself in that. We'll see. Time permitting, blah, blah, blah. We'll see how it goes. And then, obviously, the final Samantha Shannon that I have on my shelf that I need to get to, A Day of Fallen Night, massive chunkster, dragons, all the things I love. I just need to find the time to sit down and dedicate to it. It's actually, I find her writing pretty easy to read. I think it's ultimately, like, the physical experience of grabbing a book this big off of your shelf can be really daunting sometimes, and I just haven't hyped myself up enough to do that. But hopefully in the next 4 months, I will get around to it. So let's count how many books I have to get through. You know what? That's only 20 books. So if I divide that by 4, that's 5 books a month. I read more than 5 books a month. That's totally doable. Ultimately, in a month where I had nothing else going on, I can read 20 books in a month. These are all kind of heavy literary books, a lot of them, so I'm not sure that I would ever attempt to read all 20 of these at the same time, but that's a bit of a relief. I would love to go into 2025 caught up on these books. I'm not saying I wouldn't have added more to the pile, but it feels a lot more manageable knowing that I have that number and knowing that I can plan out for the next few months what it could possibly look like, whether it's just mood reading or if I put them all in a hat and draw them out. I'm not totally sure. One book that is also, I have started it already though, is The Rachel Incident by Carolyn O'Donoghue, and I'm really enjoying this book quite a bit actually. But that's also a book that's been sitting on my shelves for a few months. Okay, so tell me what your fall reading priority plans are. Let me know if you are at all interested in tackling your physical TBRber during the Ber months, and I will put these away in some sort of orderly fashion, finish my pumpkin steamed milk, get to some reading, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.